You are listening to a True North Eager Beaver Media Podcast. The True North Eager Beaver podcasts are proudly brought to you by our founding sponsors, the Miss V Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, your source for science fiction, fantasy, and cozy mysteries featuring a broad diversity of characters. CanadianTarot.com, your uniquely Canadian online eclectic tarot community and forum, and the Peppermaster, hot pepper sauces made from fresh farm ingredients to thrill your taste buds and expand your mind.
Well, good morning and hello, kids, and welcome to season 3 and episode number 76 of the Daily Beaver here on the Crier Media Network. You might notice that there's a little less of me. Huh? I told you there'd be a change of look. How you like me now? Today, recording day is Tuesday, March 14th, 2023. Happy Pie Day. By the way, you know how you eat a pie, right? One slice at a time. And it will be a cloudy day here at the Beaver Lodge with some wind gusts up to 50 kilometers an hour. Oh, thank you, Kit Linda. Looking smooth. Et une petite pensée pour les bonnes gens de la région d'Amqui qui vivent quelque chose de vraiment extraordinaire en ce moment. Vous avez tout notre cœur et toute notre compassion. Just a little thought for the people in Amqui who are going through some very, very trying times. You have all of our heart and all of our compassion.
Mm-hmm.
I'm your host, the Eager Beaver, pronouns he, him, hey, Mr. Beaver A. And with me, as always, is my dear friend, Mr. Grizzly. Of course, a big thank you goes to our podcast founding sponsors, the Peppermaster, the Miss V Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, and CanadianTarot.com. Today, we have a Tuesday morning nibble for you, but first, our most important duty. Good morning, Mr. Grizzly, and how's your mental health today?
Good morning, Mr. Beaver. 1 second. Had to clear my throat. I'm mental health, I think, is okay, still on that exhaustion stage. Must have woke up about a dozen times last night. Like, I'd sleep and then wake up and then sleep and then wake up and then sleep. And it was jarring, to say the least, but not a lot I can do about that. Just muscle on through the day, right?
Right. You would adjust well to daylight savings time? Everybody except for people in Saskatchewan and Yukon Territory who didn't have to do it.
Yeah, I'm. It's going to take me a couple more days, honestly.
Yeah.
I always feel like horribly jet lagged and hungover the day after. Even though I worked from home yesterday, so it was a little less jarring than normal. I'll be tired today. I know it. It affects me that way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How about yourself?
My clock got thrown completely off again. So
Yeah.
I think like the night before or the night after, it was like, again, I was like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. I was still up and was like, oh God, not again. I just got myself back to zero from the last time that happened. But doing well. No
That's
complaints.
good.
Let's see.
I have something I'm going to share with you real
All
quick
right.
here.
Let's
This
do
is
this.
how quickly they turn.
Oh, I love that.
So, Rob Primo, some guy on Twitter, who thinks that Maxime Bernier should go to Pierre Poliver's rally himself and ask him why he supports the Paris Climate Accord and global policies. Then Maxime rambles on. And I can't be bothered with Maxime, and then it's Christine Anderson's follow-up, the Nazi herself. Why bother asking? The answer seems quite obvious. Pierre Poliver is a sellout and therefore part of the problem. People like that always know the talk, but when it comes down to actually walking their talk, they'll cave in. So we're watching the conservatives eat themselves.
Well, here we go. The thing that I find interesting in this is that in an era where we're talking about foreign meddling in our elections, basically the self-appointed global chief Nazi is going around to other countries and making sure that the subordinates are standing in line, and if not, inserting themselves into the politics of another nation.
Yeah.
She really does tweet as if she's their boss.
You think? Just maybe a little
We
bit?
noticed that in the previous episode, eh?
Oh, yeah. It's brutal.
There's some arrangements that we do not know about.
Oh, I think so.
There's some FIPA-style arrangements between the Conservative Party of Canada, I think, and some of these organizations, or at least their political counterparts, or the parties to which they seemingly aspire to become. Because this is very, very odd behavior. It's almost like the movement, the global movement of whatever this thing is, like tapped her on the shoulder and said, you know what? We're going to assign each of you a country and you get Canada.
Certainly seems that way.
You get to give Canada 100% of your entire attention. It's really what it looks like. It looks like she's got her center focus and she's just decided that she's got a Canada fetish. So either she was assigned the role by higher up, because, I mean, seriously, why would a member of the European Parliament just one day decide that she's going to fixate on Canada? There's like no reason. We're a G7 country, but out of the G7 countries,
it seems to be like a concerted and concentrated effort to overthrow our democracy. Oh, did I say that out loud? Oh, that was a thought. Sorry, I said my thought out loud. Sometimes that I had a Freudian slip. Slip.
Yes, it's almost like they turn out and says, "Well, oh darn, we got so close with January 6th in the U.S., but we didn't quite get it. Let's do Canada. They got less defenses.
Yeah, we'll start with them and go from there.
Yeah, and then migrate south or something."
Like, well, they're already well seated in the United States of America. When you've got 50% of the population thereabouts supporting Russia, and we're seeing it here now in Canada, which is disturbing because you've got people. I just saw somebody. I want to say Welland or Windsor. I'm not sure. There, because they have a Ukrainian flag at their home, somebody painted a swastika on their gate and wrote Ukraine support equals Nazi support on their sidewalk in paint. So there is a brainwashing, a mass psychosis underway right now, trying to get people to believe that Vladimir Putin is the good guy in all of this. He invaded a country. He is not a good guy. He's never been a good guy. Trust me when I say this. He is an evil human being. Trust me. And this is not just coming from me. This is coming from our counterterrorism experts, friends of mine, BT Dubs, who work in this world that we merely look at. And they told me point blank, the guy's a gangster.
Yeah.
And he could be worth almost $1 trillion, they believe, with money that he's stolen. But he says, no, I don't have any money. Well,
yes, because he's got it all in the bank accounts of individual oligarch friends, which is why he's crapping his pants, because if their money doesn't go any further, he's worried they'll gang up on him.
That's exactly what it is. He is petrified that they will come after him. This is why you keep seeing oligarchs suddenly falling out of windows or down stairwells. He fell down a stairwell. Well, how do you fall all the way down a stairwell? It's like levels, right? You keep falling down a stairwell. That's because you're thrown. you're thrown.
He's got Aunt Bunny disease.
Aunt Bunny falling down the steps
Oh, I'm
again.
falling down the steps now. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, my shoe. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, I'm halfway down now. Oh, Lord God, Lord, help me, please. Boom, boom, boom.
Oh, Lord Jesus, help me, please, Lord Jesus.
Oh, Lillian.
Lillian. Oh, Lord Jesus.
Aunt Bunny fell down the stairs.
Bunny fell down the steps. You have to be a certain vintage to get that one. With apologies to Eddie Murphy.
Yes. Eddie, go get Aunt Bunny something cool for her head. Wow. Aunt Bunny fell down the stairs. Shoe. I always love the shoe part.
Shoe throwing mothers. My mother never threw shoes.
Nope, neither did mine. But I'm glad I never gave her a reason to, because she taught me how to throw a baseball, and she had a good arm. So let's just put it that way.
But there was never threw a shoe, but there was the wooden spoon occasionally.
Oh, yes.
Never got the belt. My father never raised his hands to his children in his life, ever, not once. All he had to do was raise his voice, and he only did that about 4 times. And I think we all defecated when we heard. Because take this voice, and raise it really loud,
okay,
and in anger.
Yeah, I saw my mom throw a cup once, but it wasn't in my direction.
Wasn't me. Wasn't me. You turned into Shaggy all of a sudden. Wasn't me.
It just sort of like all of a sudden, like she was just standing there. And next thing you know, there was a cup against the walls, and it was, oh, what happened there? Oh man. Okay. There's been a lot. We've got like stuff to celebrate, and
so much.
We got stuff to worry about.
Did you see any of the Junos last night?
I have not yet. I know a little bit because I've heard some news, but I know that for some reason streaking seems to be a theme these past days.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I don't know. And it was, appropriate that it was Avril Lavigne on stage at times. She's like, get the fuck off stage, bitch. And then when Avril went up to accept her award for Artist of the Year, Fan Choice Artist of the Year from Tik Tok, she's like, you come up on stage, I will F you up.
I love her.
I like Avril a lot. She's pretty awesome, I think. And of course, who presented you didn't get to see it, but you know who it was presented by was one of my favorite artists, Jessie Reyes, who had performed earlier in the evening.
And won.
And won, yeah. And she knocked the, like, burned the place down. She was so good. But it was co-presented by Jessie Reyes and kallmekris.
No way.
Yeah, from Tik Tok, kallmekris, and her YouTube.
Yeah, that you put up. Yeah. How cool is that?
Yeah, she had this super cool dress on that was very similar to the one Jamie Lee Curtis I showed you a photo of. It's like black with like crinoline patterns that go through it. It was really cool. It was really cool. Yeah.
Oh, wow. So the one thing I know is that the host was Simu Liu. By all accounts, he did a very, very, very good job.
Oh,
so
yeah.
That's good. And of course, the Hall of Fame, Canadian Music Hall of Fame act this year inductee was Nickelback.
Yep.
Which, of course, they're a band that for some reason has generated a lot of hate. I never really got it.
I like her. I like the band. I always have.
Well, I mean, okay, like I understand they do super commercial rock, but there's a market for that. Okay, some people don't think
50 million records. Yeah, I'd think so.
Yeah, right. So I mean, it's like, come on, man, don't poop on other people's parades. People like Nickelback. Let people like Nickelback.
Well, and I find that a lot of the people that hate Nickelback, all their songs sound the same. Yeah. How do you feel about Bon Jovi? Love Bon Jovi. How about AC/DC? Love them. Def Leppard. You fail to see the hypocrisy, right? All their songs sound the same. No shit, really. I have a photo here. Here's kallmekris, and oh damn, my goodness gracious! Check this out. She looks just spectacular. Well, hang on. I'll blow it up a bit first so you can see it a little bit better. It's just boom, boom. Oh, blowing up the background, not the foreground. Weird. Okay. Oh, well, here we go. I'll just show you the picture real quick. It's she looks lovely. Lost your mic, sir. Suddenly you have no
There we
sound.
go. Is that
Yeah.
better? Yeah, from
Yeah,
like from the Vogue magazine.
Yeah, very similar, eh?
It might be the damn same one.
Close. Very
Yeah.
close.
Wow.
Yeah.
She looks great. Ooh. You were talking about because you were talking about streaking, and this was out the other day. This is a good Twitter feed if people for kids who like history, called Canadian History AX A with an X. But the first streaker at the Maple Leaf Gardens is escorted off the ice after returning into the game with just shoes and a sign on March 12th, 1980. Sadly, he failed to help the Leafs beat the Blues with the team losing 3-2. And all you see is the streaker with a sign.
Mm.
And then I believe Karima might be running for mayor.
What?
Karima.
This is news?
You didn't see that? Oh yeah, she had put out her platform. I think it was like extra recess and a couple of other
Oh, so
things.
she's making fun of the idiots is what she's doing, is what she's saying.
Yes, absolutely. And I think it was like mandatory streaking in there too. It's just like,
Well, if
hey,
Chris Sky
everybody's
can
talking
run for
about
mayor,
streaking
why
all of a
not,
sudden.
right? Yeah.
What?
If Chris Sky can run for mayor, why not? I mean, he's got a fundraiser right now. It's $500 a plate, or a table of 10 for 5,000. And if you want to sit at the VIP table, which is on a raised stage, it's 1,500 each. The grift is strong in this one.
Oh, there it is, Mr. Grizzly. Longer recess, monthly pizza parties, and streaking, the pathway to healing our nation. Now that's a platform with which I can get down. Where do I vote? Like, just shut up and take my money. Send me to the polling station.
We don't live in Toronto. We can't vote for the mayor of Toronto. We don't live there.
Hold on.
I can get an address.
Hold on. Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
So good.
I don't know if we should talk about this Jordan Peterson thing. If you,
Oh yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
Let me just.
This one deserves it.
Okay, so he tweeted a weird fetish porn photo.
Yes.
A video, which I'm not putting up. I'm not putting
Nope.
up because it's YouTube and they'll take us down.
Yes.
And he said, "What's going on in China?" And I'm kind of like, "Dude, you what? That's okay, whatever."
He basically confirmed his incel status. Let's put it that way.
Did he ever? And then he posted this, and this apparently is still up.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I'm cautioning those who've not seen it. It's vulgar.
Yes.
And really offensive.
Yes.
I'm not even going to read it.
Nope. Well, we have to say something for the people who are listening at home.
Yeah.
And it's not of a JJ. Well, okay, it's not a vagina. It's a hole for another man to, and that's that.
Yeah.
That's all he said. I mean, just crude.
But Pierre Poliver really supports this, man. Free speech.
Yeah. He's a
not
voice.
A thing in Canada.
Yeah. Yeah. It's basically it was a extreme extreme. It was an S&M domination
website. Yeah.
Yeah, website that he thought was real life.
In China. Yeah. He thought it was a breeding center in China. And it's in the UK, by the way.
Yeah. So down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Down he goes.
Well, we'll just call him mediocrities. Good enough.
Man, I feel sorry for him, man.
Well, he needs help.
Just feel so.
He's digging his hole in deeper all the
I mean,
time.
we laugh because
But
it's
it's
just so
sad.
damn absurd, but it is sad.
Well, and he seems to thrive upon it. It's like, dude, you need help.
But
Like
again, my
this.
question I keep on asking, does nobody at all in your circle love you enough to get you to the help you need?
We keep asking that about Theo Fleury, and I'm thinking, anybody in his circle, they're just making money off this grift. I don't know what else it could be
Joseph
because,
Bourgault first. He's the sugar daddy.
yeah.
He's bankrolling it. You know, apparently, according to Press Progress, he's stopped all donations to the Saskatchewan Party
Oh, yeah. And I was going
in
with
order to
the,
donate to Sask United Party
yes.
because
Yeah.
Scott Moe, permanent concussion Moe, wasn't extreme enough. The guy who held Jason Kenney's beer. Oh, Jason Kenney did something stupid. Oh my God, I need to follow that and double it. I guess he's not extreme enough for Joseph Bourgault. I mean, come on, right? And what is it with like people who ran for the leadership of the Conservative Party of Canada who don't get it, that then go off and start other movements? What's his deal?
The key word there is movement because they're full of shit.
Yes. They were moved and I was not. Let's put it that way. I don't, yeah, it's weird. It's weird. It's weird. I don't get it. I've had some kits also when we did, I was on Dean's show last Friday and we talked about the Sarah Fisher angle. So the whole alleged Chinese interference type, well, interference by the People's Republic of China type thing. And nobody's covering it still.
Mm-hmm.
Still. You know, they're still talking about Handong. And it's like, it's right there with neon arrows pointing to it. She is the defeated candidate. She's the director of communications now, and the party had access to the documentation. Nobody is even remotely putting it in the public sphere that that's a way that that information could have gotten out. There's like zero accountability.
I don't understand, man.
Yep.
I don't understand.
But it's like, why is nobody running with this? It's sitting right there. And then, of course, like, irony of ironies, right? That the first person that falls out of all of this is a conservative. And not even at the federal level, but at the provincial level. You have this guy named Vincent Ka.
I'm not sure how to pronounce this.
Yeah, it's written K-E, but it seems on the radio and whatnot, they seem to be pronouncing it Ka.
Okay.
So Vincent Ka was basically singled out as, accused, because none of this has been proven in court and no charges have been laid at this time. And again, all of this is based on intelligence, which are bits and pieces of information that may or may not be verified or may not be complete, and even may or may not be true, because some people intentionally put false intelligence in there to see if somebody takes it or to lead you off lead you off a path, or to see if a contact is solid, or right. All the bits of information that people are saying when you're doing spycraft are not necessarily true pieces of information either.
Mm-hmm. And
some of them are
verified that false for us. Oh yeah.
Right? So
that's why it's called intel, not facts.
Right. Or evidence, or
evidence. Yeah.
Right.
And then has to be investigated further and deeper,
right,
and
corroborated, and all that kind of stuff. And so, again, we're still at the stage, well over a week later, where we have absolutely no independently verified corroboration, and we're still having to take Bob Fife and Sam Cooper, I think it is, from Global's word for it. And now we're getting at the point where Sam Cooper is starting to post articles and refer to them as like bombshell. This bombshell Global. So it's like fluffing his own, which always puts a little, right? It's like when we do a show, we don't turn around and says, like this, oh, you need to listen to our most excellent show. No. It's like the kits say this one is good. That's right, is what we'll say, right? When we get a lot of comments. The kids seem to particularly like this one, so you might like it too. But it's like, don't listen to our history making episode about. It's like, it's not for us to say that our episode is history making. It's not for you to call your own story a bombshell.
I've got a comment here. It's just a little over 2.5 minutes, and it's from. So Brian Lilly, go figure, interview with a former CSIS agent that confirms every government since 1997 has known Beijing had planned to take over candidate selection process of all political parties and specific riding associations.
Yeah.
So here, I'll just play a few seconds of this so we all get an idea of what I'm talking about. Here we go.
Someone who I've known for a very long time. He's someone who spent years from the 1980s to the early 2000s as a CSIS officer, including time on the Asia Pacific desk. Michel Junokatsuya, he joins me now from Ottawa. Michel, thanks so much.
I was in charge of Asia Pacific, and we had discovered already the attempt by the Chinese embassy and the Chinese agent in place to try to manipulate the political process in Canada. We have been sounding the alarm for the last 30 years. I witnessed that myself when we went to the government. Every government, name it, any color, any party, we told them what was happening. We were bringing evidence, and they disregard.
So, this is not new.
No.
This has been going on for a long time. And that's just a few seconds of a selection from an interview. So they keep, the Conservative Party really is run by a bunch of not that smart people. Every now and then I think, well, there's got to be some intelligent people in there. And I don't think Polliver's as stupid as he'd like to have us think he is. I don't think he's as smart as he'd like to have us think he is either, to be honest with you. But they obviously have a lot of people in that party who are trying to take advantage of the average Canadian who won't necessarily do the extra work or homework or look into anything a little bit deeper and think that what is presented on the surface is all there is to it and nothing more. But they're telling tales out of school in the sense that everything they say is easily not changed. What's the word I'm looking for? Repudiated.
Yes.
Easily repudiated, because it's like, well, no, this is just the Liberal Party and it only started then. No, we've been doing this for 30 years, telling every successive government this is happening. 30 plus years by CSIS. And here is an individual who just, I'm sure, was pissed off, going like, look, I've been screaming this from the rooftops and nobody listened to me. For want of a better term, it fell on deaf ears. And now they're coming out with this accusation and saying it's just Justin Trudeau. And this guy wasn't even talking politics. He was just pissed that a political party was trying to blame another political party for something that's been going on for decades. This man does not like that type of politics without ever having to say it. It's pretty obvious. Yeah. So it just...
I feel you, Mr. Grizzly. I feel you. It's exhausting.
It really is.
So this Vincent Ka guy was accused of serving as a, quote, financial intermediary in interference schemes by the Communist Party of the People's Republic of China. Now, Doug Ford accepted the resignation. Brian Lilly is trying to spin that, and the Sun folks and everybody else says, Doug Ford took some great action. Why did the Prime Minister not do that? Okay, Doug Ford didn't do shit.
Mm-hmm.
He accepted a resignation.
That
does not take courage.
To accept a resignation?
Okay.
I quit. Okay, Go ahead.
That's like when some member of the Conservative Party did something terrible. I can't remember what it was, like this. And then Andrew Scheer turns around and says, he's apologized and I accept his apology. Oh, yeah, Michael Cooper, when he read that manifesto into the into the House of Commons thing. He goes, he's apologized and I accept his apology. Isn't it for like the Muslim lady that was sitting on the stand while he read that?
Maybe.
Isn't it for her to accept his apology?
Not yours.
Who the hell are you? He didn't offend you. I accept his apology and I consider the matter closed. The apology isn't to you.
Well, it was like Joanna was saying yesterday. It's like it doesn't affect you, so why do you care?
Right. Karen Woods, co-founder of the Canadian Chinese Political Affairs Committee, says that China's interference is quite pervasive, it's widespread, and it's certainly non-partisan. That whole line about them doing this because they wanted to help the liberals. No. They are completely agnostic.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. It's whomever, regardless of stripe, they are colorblind. They think will help the party. That's it. That's all. That's the, and if it causes if it sows some disruption and confusion and social consternation, controversy, all the better. But they don't care. They don't care at all. So I don't know, man. This is just, it's messy, and there are people with vested interests in keeping this messy and making this very confused and clear as mud. And it's just, you need your bullshit hip waiters for this one. That's simple on this one. And the interesting thing as well with all of this is when they're suspecting Han Dong, because in the original report, they were talking about 9 liberals and 2 conservatives in Ontario. And now people are starting to look even in BC, right? Mm-hmm. Because there's a very sizable Chinese Canadian community in that province. Thus, perfect targets, right? Because there was some testimony on the Hill, right, this week from people. I'll try to find the clip if I can. Chinese Canadians explaining how it is that they get harassed. The alleged police stations, clandestine police stations, are actually masquerading as service centers for people who arrive from China and are trying to integrate. Mm-hmm. And then that's where they make some contact, especially Chinese Canadians or new arrivals that don't speak English as fluently as they would, let's say, in a year or two.
Right.
And so they they tell them how things are here, and and that type of thing. And it's not rare for a Chinese Canadian citizen to get a random phone call, just saying, "Hi, how are your parents doing in Szechuan?"
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's problematic, but it's a little. What's it's sort of a old school. Hey, tell you what, you pay me for some insurance, I'll make sure nothing bad happens to you.
Yeah. Hey, have you seen your daughter? Is she in your backyard?
I could put a couple guys on it. We could make sure she's okay. Nothing bad ever happens to her. You just got to pay me once a month.
Oh, lovely store you have here. Beautiful antiques. It would be a shame if something happened to it.
Yeah, it'd be terrible. Forget about it. You just pay me once a month. I'll make sure nobody ever gives you a hard time. All right? It's old school.
Yeah. And the thing with Han Dong, which was the first name that they put out and said that he was an alleged witting conspirator. He was the target in 2019 of misleading newsletters targeting the Chinese-speaking community, alleging that liberals would support the legalization of hard drugs and levy a tax on your home. So if he was in on it and a witting accomplice, who was running against him in the Chinese language papers? It's like, every single little additional bit of information that we do know that can be verified seems to not fit in with the narrative that Messieurs Fife and Cooper would like us to believe. And again, neither of these two have given us an iota of a contextual idea of what the motivation is behind releasing this information. If they will not tell us who, they should be at least curious enough to commit journalism and inquire about the motives.
And yet they haven't done that.
They've given us no. And you've got some journalists out there that are not as familiar with how to treat this information, that are talking about this, what's contained allegedly in the evidence that nobody's seen except these two people and nobody can see, as being confirmation that these things have happened.
And didn't our friend Evan Scrimshaw write something about this just the other day, to the extent that Global is not doing any investigation into this?
None. They're not investigating the claims. They're just putting them out there.
I'm like, well, aren't you just like a slob on Twitter? Like, if you're a news organization, you're doing zero investigation.
Not journalism.
Exactly. And it's barely stenography. I mean, come on. It's copy and paste.
Right.
At least stenographers actually do something. This is copy and paste.
I mean,
an 8-year-old could do it.
Right. All right. These are, I had a whole bunch of other things and some happier things. Oscars, judos, curling, rugby, wheelchair, just a whole bunch, but we'll talk about those the other day, tomorrow. But yeah, just, we're soaking in some really weird palm olive at the moment. Madge. So, try to keep your head about you. A lot of this information, if you're listening to the story and you see a piece of information that is making your emotions go, what? Take a breath.
This is me right now.
Yep. Pretty much. Yeah. Adopt that sort of Zen position. Just like, be a happy observer. Don't get too emotionally invested right now, because a lot of people are saying things for the purpose of pushing that button and having you rage and having really wanting somebody to do something now.
Yeah.
Do something now. Take action. We don't even know what the target is yet. We don't know where to swing.
It's kind of like, maybe it's time to put your big coat on, put your headset on, and tune out the noise for a little bit, because a lot of it is noise.
Yeah. And there's going to be a lot of noise before stuff gets distilled and we finally get some semblance of what actually happened. Because right now, this is the flood the zone phase.
We'll try and distill as much of it as we can and sort through as much of the garbage as we possibly can for you. But we're only humans.
And we're not journalists, and there's just us two. We have no budget. We have no investigative capacity. Some people are sending us some stuff, and every now and then
we really appreciate it.
Do something with it, and we appreciate it. But it was like, look into this. I just want you guys to know, we don't have any capacity to look into this. We have capacity to look at anything that's on the internet.
That's it. Yeah.
I have no contacts on the inside in anywhere. I have no.
I do, but I can't disclose anything they tell me.
Yeah, but I don't. So all I can do is look at what's in public domain, try to remember what happened in the past, connect dots over time, look at patterns, look at contradictions, look at things that don't make sense, look at things that are illogical, irrational, look at things that don't match up with what I know to be true about civics and the law and our political tradition, and then point out inconsistencies and then ask questions about them. But I'm not special in the sense that I'm not this bigwig and I have no contacts, and it's not like I have this Rolodex of people I can call or whatnot. It's literally just what's out there and just, paying attention and putting some pieces together. And, sometimes I'm wrong.
Yeah. Oh, and we'll always admit
it's going to go this way. And sometimes I'm frighteningly right. But
We make a mistake, we'll own up to it every single time. We try and be as accurate as we possibly can. Conjecture and speculation is not a big part of what we do.
But when
And
we do it, we're saying it.
we're saying it, yes.
We say it outright, right? We say, like, this is a fact, and okay, now this is speculation, so don't take this to the bank, right?
And like I said, I do know people in positions that can tell me things, but they'll tell me something, then they're like, you can't use that. I'm like, okay, thanks. And I'm like, I have to honor that. I have the clearance for it, right? But it's not
Not your information to tell.
Well, this is the thing. And again, I do have the clearance for it. However, I don't work in that field. And it's not my information to tell. My buddy tells me something in confidence. It remains in confidence.
Right.
And again, what he's telling me is on the peripheral. He's not giving me the meat of the story.
Right.
And same with a few other folks that I've discussed stuff with. They're like, well, this is sort of what we're looking at. I'm like, okay, don't use that. I won't. I won't. We're only going to talk about what we can talk about. And what we can talk about is widely publicly available.
Yeah, what we know. We got a good, nice Kit grappling with Canada. Who's the new guy? Definitely did a double take on Twitter morning. Oh, flattery will get you everywhere.
Well, I saw something. Tim McCaffrey's like ZZ Top. I'm like, is that supposed to be me? I got a ways to go yet. I got a ways to go yet. Yeah.
If you're a regular watcher, you know he's got legs. He's shown them. All right, kids. I think that's a wrap for today.
This?
What do you think, Mr. Grizzly?
There we go. Yeah.
There we go. The dude is all right.
Yeah, I believe that is a wrap. I gotta get to the office. So let's wind it up, good sir.
All right. That's the end of this episode of the Daily Beaver Podcast, Kits. We hope you love listening to us because we love making this for you. Remember that sharing is caring and word of mouth is priceless. So please let your peeps know about us. And because democracy is something that you do, we have something from Kit Linda here. If you live in Ontario, comments are open on Bill 60 until March 27th. Tell the government how you feel about expanding private healthcare because democracy is something you do. Wow, I love that, Linda. Thank you so much. That was well done. And of course, as always, write to your MPs and your senators and everybody. Let them know that you're not down with that Nazi shit.
Mm-hmm.
We ain't having it. And of course, Friends of Rosie, we are still looking for some people to join us. So please, if you would like to, even if it's just a one-time contribution, every drop and tittle adds to the pot.
Mm-hmm.
So we appreciate your help. If you really like this podcast, you can find us on the Crier Media Network, as well as all Beaver Grizzly friendly platforms. Stars and reviews are appreciated, and we love to hear from you. Reach us on our Facebook at True North Eager Beaver, our Twitter feed at True Eager, or by email via truenortheagerbeaver@gmail.com. You can subscribe to us via our pod page, podpage.com/the True North Eager Beaver. That's the True North Eager Beaver with a hyphen between each one of those words. And we will come straight to you when we have something fresh off the bandwidth. Why not also subscribe to our True North Eager Beaver Media Incorporated YouTube channel? That helps us out big time. We're trying to get at least to 1,000, and you are helping us immensely. We've crossed 180, so thank you. It's a nice steady flow, and it seems to be picking up some steam. So thank you, Kits. We really appreciate that. And if you would like to support us, well, we definitely could use your support, your kind and generous support. So if you look where Grizzly's pointing there, there's a QR code if you're watching. If you scan that with your phone, that will bring you to our tip jar. And if you are listening to us, well, then you can just type on that beautiful keyboard, coffee, ko-fi.com/eagerbeaver, all in one word, lowercase letters. And that will bring you directly to our emergency Guinness, black coffee, hot chocolate, sometimes a Caesar fund. So if you'd like to help us out, we would be very grateful. Merch will be coming back online soon. We're looking for new distributors, so that's on pause for a while, but we'll have some good stuff for you soon. Don't worry about it, Kits. And we'll make sure that you have a place to go get yourself some fabulous. From the Beaver Lodge, this is your Eager Beaver saying, until next time, dear Kits, it could be a tough world out there. So be kind to and gentle with yourself. And I must admit, I'm still buzzing from yesterday. I loved that interview with Joanna.
Well, I thought it was pretty awesome myself.
Yeah. Mr. Grizzly, do you have some words of wisdom for us before we go?
I'm not awake yet.
All right.
Drink your coffee. And if you're open and if you have to drive into your place of employment, please show extra caution today.
Yes.
Because of the time change. You're probably a little drowsy, so are the other drivers on the road, so please look out for one another.
All right. Some wise words and good advice. Mr. Grizzly, would you please roll the credits?
You are listening to a True North Eager Beaver media podcast. The True North Eager Beaver podcasts are proudly brought to you by our founding sponsors, the Miss V Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, your source for science fiction, fantasy, and cozy mysteries featuring a broad diversity of characters. CanadianTarot.com, your uniquely Canadian online eclectic tarot community and forum, and The Peppermaster, hot pepper sauces made from fresh farm ingredients to thrill your taste buds and expand your mind.
Hi, kids. Me again.
Close up, dude. That's a little freaky.
Me again.
Don't forget, this Saturday, March 18th, we go live at 2 p.m. Welcome to the place where everyone knows your name, where everyone's your friend, where good times are had by all. Sit back, relax, pour yourself a beverage and enjoy our company. I know we'll certainly enjoy yours. Welcome to the True North Eager Beaver Pubcast. Once a month, we gather at the Lieutenant's Pump at 361 Elgin Street in downtown Ottawa, Canada's capital city, bringing you joy and happiness all day long.
Have a good one, kids.
See you Saturday.